All right. Chioma, any thoughts before we move forward?
Kachi, I have to tell you, it's almost like, we are running this show. Come back to the East, come back to the East. Ijele went to the East. Balaga, oh yeah, come on stage. I belong stage now. I'm co-hosting. I'm even using my church voice. I didn't come within the Boski today. Ejim no be wire. Now, and you still. Oh no, this leg Germany the agitation. Is this the leg you people are using to go to the EU? Go
Yeah.
guess now EU to go and free Biafra. And Nigeria, waiting concern Biafra with EU. Are you part of the European Union? This is the scam that our people were sold, and a lot of us. And here's the thing, and Kachi, I told you in our chat previously that accountability is something that I think that Africans don't really understand conceptually. Like, I don't think that they understand it contextually either. I think as a concept, they think that the only people who need to be accountable for something are the people who did something to them. So
Yeah.
Igbo people need to be accountable for what they do our great grandparents. Nigeria need to be, or the zoo need to be accountable for what they did to our parents during the war.
Yeah.
In a matter of war, maybe you want Nigeria to be there singing "Ring Around the Roses," about full of roses. No, we're not going to twinkle twinkle star ourselves during the war. No, okay? The other side is not saying, oh, the Ghanaian one. No, they're not going to say, do you have the necessary weapons? No. You are going to go back into yourself and determine whether you have what it takes to fight that.
Yep.
Biafra did not have what it took in 1967 to win the war, considering what the facts were. So for somebody who was trained and schooled at Oxford, who was a military person, he was aware of the limitations of what it would take to fight a war. And to be fair, all he had at that time was theory, because again, Nigeria had not fought a war. It was not like we were fighting a war between 1960 and 1966. And to make this clear, because I know that one person is going to come up on stage and they will say things like, 1914, 1914. In 1960, the first self-determination that happened in Nigeria was when the representatives from every region sat and decided, they self-determined.
Yep.
That was the first self-determination when we got our independence. That is you choosing, because what does self-determination mean? It is you choosing your political, your social, and your economic trajectory as a people. So we had representatives from this, eastern region, from the western region, and from the northern region, and they all agreed that we are going to march together as a new baby into this new horizon. And by 66, some of you should ask your grandparents, because ask your grandparents if they know King's Supermarket. Ask your parents if they lived during that time, the type of life that they lived. This idea that Nigeria has always been hostile to Igbo people is something that was shifted after the war. And it was a valid point for some people who felt like during a war, they felt like Nigeria should not have done this or shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But Nigeria was pressing for the unity of Nigeria. And if in 2026 you want to disrupt the unity of Nigeria under the guise of Biafra, you are trying to break the country, and Nigeria will resist you with absolute force. In fact, Nigeria has actually been very, very lenient with this whole agitation stuff. Why? Because of the Boko Haram issue. It is handling insecurity in the north. It is handling insecurity in the middle belt. And then the succession, we were allowed from 1999 to be deceiving ourselves with Biafra. So I ask you again, if Biafra is not a scam, prove it. Prove it. Then in our rule, in a village, in 20 million, you must see the land to confirm that you have the land. A wall foundation, you confirm. You see block, you confirm. You see pillar, you confirm. Are you going to say for 26 years in Yerema the 20 million and they did not build anything there? Nothing is to show for it. And you are saying we are building house. No, you ain't building nothing. Okay? You are not, just because you want to be in perpetual struggle doesn't mean that in here made this struggle, this scam has done, sorry, this thing you call struggle that is a scam has done to Igbo people is something we should not talk about. Kachi, I don't think we have spent this room talking about why it is really a scam. We've talked about the monetary part of the scam. Because when you talk about monetary thing, if IPOB Radio Biafra was just scamming people, I remember in 2014, my first interview, the video that I said was that Biafra was a scam. And they wanted to like lynch their mom, not me. And now, then I was focusing mostly on the scam of it all, like the money scam of trying to get the diaspora to donate money under the guise of building projects that was going to uplift us as a people, building cenotaphs, building memorials for people who died during the war, building projects, building dormitories for the Biafran veterans who died in the war. There are people in this room who are telling us that their fathers fought in the war. Is your dad receiving pension? I don't think so. I don't think that he's receiving any thank you or any memorial during every year. In fact, May 30th was turned into a bloodbath. And it was Igbo people who paid the ultimate price. Yep. So, again, if we can talk about the financial scam of it, we can spend the whole day talking about it. But this scam, this fraud, did not just defraud us of the economics and the finances and the money. It scammed us into turning on ourselves and buying ourselves, and all we have is bodies, bodies, bodies. And in case you were wondering, they were dead bodies, and they were Igbo bodies. They were Igbo lives cut short in the struggle. And I ask you again, if Biafra is the struggle, must Igbo people die to achieve it? Thank you.
Nice one, nice one, nice one. Make una dey hear, make una dey write with pencil. I get my pencil. But before we continue,